Hello, and welcome back to Spittin' Sports with Lamar. I am Casey Lamar, and I'm coming at you from the 256. It is Tuesday, so you know that means NFL recap and reaction, so let's get right to that. So Thursday night, you had the game everybody was wanting to see this season, the Oakland Raiders at the San Francisco 49ers on Thursday Night Football. Um, if you did watch, you saw Nick Mullins of the 49ers had himself a field day in his first career start. He is the 49ers' third string quarterback, but he absolutely went off, although it was against the Raiders. The 49ers had a field day, 34-3, just absolute beatdown of the Raiders. The Raiders may be the number one pick in the draft. They're terrible right now, but 49ers pick up their second win on the season, and the Raiders are now 1-7. The first game on the list here from Sunday, you had the Bears taking on the Bills. The Bills are just in a world of hurt quarterback situation. Overall, the team's just not very good. The Bears' defense was out of this world on Sunday. Turnover, 3 interceptions, fumble recoveries, touchdowns. Just absolutely crazy. They absolutely beat the snot out of the Bills. Bears leading the North Division right now, but sitting at 5-3. The Bills are now 2-7, but the Bears beat the Bills 41-9. The Chiefs, they kept up their winning ways over the Browns. Not too difficult for them. Mahomes just does what he does. Threw for over 300 yards, 3 touchdown passes. The Chiefs are one of the best team, one of the top 3 teams in the league right now. They're 8-1 overall now. The Browns have now fallen to 2-6-1. But the Chiefs beat the Browns in Cleveland 37-21. Next, you had the Jets at the Dolphins. Low scoring, slow rolling game. Pretty boring game overall. But the Dolphins, they're over 500 now. They pick up the win 13-6 over the Jets. The Jets are 3-6, but the Jets this coming week get the Bills, so maybe they can get back on the winning track. You had the Lions at the Vikings, and the game went how you would expect it. The Vikings picked up the win, but the Lions have, the Vikings picked up the win. In case I said Lions, excuse me. But the Lions, they've stepped up against good teams, but the Vikings, they got it done on their home turf on Sunday, 24-9. The Vikings are now 5-3-1, and the Lions are 3-5. The Falcons. I got to watch most of this game. The Falcons just took it to the Redskins. The Falcons' offense has been able to play this season. It's been their defense that struggled, but they played overall a complete football game on Sunday for the most part. Julio Jones got his first touchdown of the season, and the Falcons cruised over the Redskins when all was said and done, 38-14. Matt Ryan threw for over 350 and 4 touchdowns. But Julio, first touchdown of the season. Good for him to finally do that, because he was on pace to break some records with his receiving yards, but he hadn't caught a touchdown yet. But that streak of no touchdowns is over. Falcons are now 4-4. Redskins are 5-3. Next, you had the Bucs at the Panthers, and it looked like the Panthers were going to score 60 points at one point in this game. They were going absolutely nuts. Christian McCaffrey, Cam Newton. They were only held to 7 in the second half, but they didn't need any more than that. They could have won with scoring none in the second half. But the Panthers, they're quietly one of the best teams right now. Their defense is playing well for the most part. Offense, scoring points, doing what they need to do to win games. They've got a huge matchup with Pittsburgh on Thursday Night Football this week. But the Panthers beat the Bucs 42-28. They're now 6-2. The Buccaneers are now 3-5. Also, the Panthers are undefeated at home. Next, you got the Steelers. The Steelers were in Baltimore visiting the Ravens. The Ravens continued their slide, 3-game losing streak after this Sunday. The Steelers won 23-16. Overall, a good game, what you would expect out of the Steelers, Ravens. But the Steelers were just too much for the Ravens in this football game. The Steelers are back to where we thought they would be. For a while, people freaked out the first month of the season that oh no, what are they going to do? Doesn't matter. Steelers are back to where they thought they'd be without Le'Veon Bell. James Conner, he has been more than what they were asking for out of him. It's like they haven't missed a beat for the most part without Le'Veon Bell to this point. But the Steelers, they win 23-16 over the Ravens. They're now 5-2-1, and they've haven't lost a game away from home. They did tie with the Browns in Week 1, but the Ravens are now 4-5. They're on a terrible slide right now. Next, you had the Texans and Broncos, and the Texans have won 6 in a row now. It's pretty crazy. The Broncos had a chance to win the game as time expired, but they missed a 51-yard field goal. Demaryius Thomas's first game. It was his first game with his new team in Houston, and it was against his old team, the Broncos. He did catch a pass. I think he caught a pass on the Texans' first offensive play of the game. But the Texans, they outlast the Broncos 19-17. They've now won 6 in a row. The Broncos, they've slipped after the 2-0 start. They're now 3-6. Texans are 6-3, but Texans get the job done 19-17. Next was a good football game. The Chargers, though, they're quietly one of the better teams in the league. Still, their 2 losses are against the Rams and the Chiefs, and you can't complain about losing to those 2 teams. And it wasn't like those games were complete blowouts. But the Chargers, they do beat the Seahawks on the road, 25-17. They're now 6-2. The Seahawks fall to 4-4. But the Seahawks, they've looked better here lately. Obviously, they lost a close one to the Chargers there. But the Chargers get the job done over the Seahawks 25-17. Next, the Rams are undefeated no more. The Saints, I actually picked the Saints to win this game. It's just a perfect storm. In New Orleans, the Saints, one of the best offenses in the league. Rams, one of the best offenses in the league. So you knew points were going to be scored. But this is a game that the Rams could lose, and I mean, people are going to freak out. The Saints are the best team in the league, but it's a game that the Rams lose, and you're not scratching your head. We know the Saints are good. They're a Super Bowl contender, much like the Rams. But you knew the Rams were going to lose a game, at least one game, probably 2 or 3, to be honest. They could lose more, obviously, but I was expecting the Rams to lose 3 or 4 games this year. Nothing wrong with losing to the Saints. But what the Rams did to get back in this game was great. It was 35-17 at halftime. It was 35-14 at one time, and it was like, oh, this game's over. And then all of a sudden, it was 35-35, and it was like, what is going on? And then the long touchdown to Michael Thomas, and he whipped out the cell phone. The Joe Horn celebration. But the Saints, they got the job done at home over the Rams. They're now 7-1, and the Rams fall to 8-1. You knew it was coming. Not a bad team to lose it to. Both teams are pretty equal, I would say, specifically with the offense. But the Saints give the Rams their first loss, 45-35 on Sunday. Sunday Night Football I think it was made more than it should have been about who's the greatest. Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest to play quarterback, but Tom Brady's just better. The rings speak for me. He's gotten it done. He's still playing at tops in the league at 41 years old. He's still one of the best. Don't get me wrong, I love Aaron Rodgers too. He's an amazing quarterback. But they've tried to make this the battle of who's greater, who's the GOAT, or whatever. And the Patriots won. They just pulled away in the fourth quarter, as you can see. They scored 14 to the Packers 0 to win 31-17. Josh Gordon had a huge game for the Patriots. James White had a huge game for the Patriots. Tom Brady did what Tom Brady does. And the Patriots are undefeated at home. Still, they're at 5-0. The Patriots are 7-2. The Packers have not won a game on the road this year. They're 0-4. And the Packers fall to 3-4-1. But Patriots over Packers on Sunday Night Football, 31-17. And then last night, the Titans, I didn't think they really had a chance in Dallas to win this game. And the 30th ranked offense went against the number 1 scoring defense, and they did what they wanted to. It was, I couldn't believe that Tennessee played offense this way. That bye week, maybe they got something clicking, but you know how up and down Mariota is. But he played an amazing game last night. I was pleasantly surprised at how well the Titans played last night. And then of course Baird he channeled his inner TO and stood on the star, and Dallas did basically nothing about it. And that just fueled the Titans to just continue to beat up on the Cowboys. Cowboys got a couple early turnovers. They got the early score with Amari. Got Amari into the offense immediately, scored a touchdown, went up 7-0. And then the Tennessee fought back and scored 14. The Cowboys scored 7, so it was 14-14 at the half. It was a good football game at that point, and then Tennessee just put it away in the second half, and then put it away with a late Mariota touchdown in the fourth quarter, and just made the game 28-14. In Tennessee, it was different seeing them play some offense because they had been terrible to this point, but now they are the number one scoring defense in the NFL. So Tennessee's plays good defense, which they showed against the Cowboys, holding them to 14 points. But their offense finally woke up against a good Cowboys defense and got the job done. They put 28 points on the board, and they beat the Cowboys 28-14 on Monday Night Football. Tennessee is now 4-4. Cowboys fall to 3-5, and that was their first home loss of the season. But your bye weeks this week were the Cincinnati Bengals, the Indianapolis Colts, New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, the Arizona Cardinals, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. But that is all the games for Week 9. That was just kind of my reaction and a recap of what happened in those games from this past weekend. But if you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up, share the content, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like these, and as well as all the others that I put out there. But this has been Spittin' Sports with Lamar. I am Casey Lamar. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.